Hello everyone, welcome back to week 7 and we're now in the second half of our course, so great job. The presentations are starting to really fly in, so by the end of this week you'll have the chance to comment on most of them. So again, I encourage you to keep doing that. Don't forget, when it comes to assessment number 2B, the expectation is you do it as you go. So we'll be basically marking after week 8. So the expectation is not that they come in like a flood, and week 9, week 10, you won't have the opportunity if you leave it that long. So get in there. That should be sort of fairly easy marks, making some comments, but we expect them to be sort of decent comments, a little bit of research yourself even, in order to get some of those higher marks. Now, in terms of this week and looking at globalisation and how it's affected Australian foreign policy, there's a few clues by pointing to institutions like the WTO and the United Nations. So on the one hand, we have Australia's commitment to groups such as the United Nations and the WTO, both through its membership but also its verbal commitment that it's always made to these types of organisations, and often preferencing their involvement in a lot of international issues. And Australia's always benefited from open market access that has been enabled through the WTO. And of course, recently we took up a seat on the United Nations Security Council, and I posted an article this week about apparently quite a stellar performance, which suggests that we put a lot of emphasis on the type of things that the United Nations wants to achieve. On the other hand, there's also the argument on the basis of national interest. And if you're a realist, you're going to be perhaps saying that all these organisations are well and good and they can be beneficial for national interests. However, if there is a clash, then there's, in this anarchical world, there's no real power other than the sovereign power of a state, and that will always come first. So perhaps look for examples that might lend weight to the realist argument. On the other hand, the liberal argument might be that this type of negotiation and globalization and these trade and investment forces and global human rights is now the way of the world since World War II, in an increasingly interdependent world, and Australia is actually a really ethical, interested player on that stage. So they're probably two really major theories, but traditional theories and ways of looking at it. So there's constructivists and other newer ways of looking at these type of issues as well. And also, of course, getting back to Australia as a middle power as well as another argument. How do we diplomatically operate on that global stage? And it may not be as clean cut as our national interests versus international and more ethical interests. So try to take a theoretical lens, and of course with essay number 3 coming up, you're going to have to again try to pick your theories and hone in on theories a lot. The presentations I've seen are all really good. Like I said, just remember to try and get familiar with the theories and what you want to use when you're answering your question for essay number 3. So again, welcome back, and hope to see you on discussion board, even though I know a lot of you are now focusing on VoiceThread, but get on once a week, have a look, and join in if you're up to it. So thank you everybody, and I will be speaking to you again soon.